live. Let me go ahead and get started. Give me one.
Okay.
All right, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with an interview. Today we have Tomi-X from Sacramento Smash. He's in here, man. He's chilling. She's in the back. And then so I have actually a few questions that I was actually able to draw together. So I'm sure there's gonna be a few things that are gonna come up the more that like it goes along. So feel free to ask in the chat if you guys have a few different things that you want to know too. But yeah, so Tommy, are you like just from Sacramento? Were you born in Sac? Did you move to Sac? Where are you originally from?
Nope. I'm born and raised in Sac. 27 years. Haven't gone anywhere else. Been out of state twice and spent 99.99% of my time here. So,
I feel it. Okay, so
yep.
completely rooted in Sac. Only a few places, and I mean, yeah, man, that's pretty much as home, born and raised as it gets, man. All right, so how long have you been playing Smash, specifically Melee, like competitively overall?
Competitively, I would say 10 to 12 years. I can't remember exactly. The first super major I went to was in Orange County in, I think it was 2006. It was called OC2.
Mm-hmm.
Might want to look into that. That was back when Ken was the shit. And
That was on the yeah, that was way back.
mm, and Captain Jack was still kicking ass and taking names, and DBR was in full swing like king. And this was before Silent Spectre actually joined up with him.
Understood.
um, I see the chat saying my volume's a little low.
All right, and then they said it was too high, so I think that should be the balance right there. Like right about here should be good.
Uh, yeah. How does that sound to you guys?
All right, that should be it. All right, so from the time that you started, what characters do you main in Melee? Like, or do you solo main, multi main?
So it's been Fox for pretty much since before I knew he was good, but um, I've been messing around with Sheik and Marth. Depends on what I feel more comfortable with. There was a time where I was trying to fuck around with Falcon, but that guy's just too fast for me, I guess.
I feel it, man. Sometimes it's like he looks cool, but it's like just controlling him is just like too much of a task. Sometimes just being able to
Mm-hmm.
move.
All
Uh,
right, yeah.
so, who do you like to use out in doubles? Like winning if when you do play, like who do you prefer to use in doubles?
Sheik, Fox occasionally, but Sheik feels better like someone that I'm not gonna fuck over my teammates by shining or up smashing them or something like that. Whereas Sheik, I feel like the team combos work a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because I can say like for sure that it's like it seemed like it'd be difficult to use Fox like efficiently in doubles because it's like so much can happen so often, and it's like you press one thing the wrong time, like I said, you can shine your teammate at the wrong time, or you try to go for like a kill move like a bear or an up smash or something, and just too much can just go wrong. So what's the biggest tournament that you've been to?
um, Super Champ combo 10 years ago.
Super Champ, where was that at?
That was in San Bernardino. That's where that was.
San Bernardino. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm not too familiar with like where everything's at in California. So is that out in like SoCal, San Bernardino?
Yeah, that's about half an hour from Los Angeles east, I think. So
Oh, okay, sick.
yeah, haven't been to a big one since a long time ago. Like I re-entered the scene like I don't know 2 3 years ago or something like that because a dear friend of mine unfortunately passed away, and um, I decided that I wanted to try and help fill the void that he left. you
No, it's
know
understandable. Yeah.
but not like I'm trying to replace him or anything like that, but because like I said, for anybody who knows his name, his tag was Dark Mike. He was one of the founding members of FTA, the Stockton crew.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
So his name comes up a lot, especially when I hang out with people who are like more ingrained into like just not even just Sacramento, but just like NorCal overall. People talk about Dark Mike. You want to go into like who he was a little bit?
Yeah, so Mike was like he was one of the coolest people I ever met because I mean he never like made you feel like shit for hanging out with him. Like he could shit on you all day.
Yeah.
Like he could destroy you, and he played Samus.
Mm-hmm.
And he was still like the entire time he was like, "Hey man, why don't you try doing this? Why don't stop doing that? Stop fucking up." Speaking of OC2, I actually shared a hotel room with most of the people in FTA. The only one that didn't show up that particular time, I think, was Jaime, Mexican. He's a DK player,
Mm-hmm.
and then JR, KFC.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, it was me and those guys and another guy in San Jose. I don't even remember his tag. He was a Pikachu player, but yeah, and that was one of the most fun times I ever had. And Mike was a cool guy then, and he was a cool guy up until he passed away, unfortunately. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks for sharing that, because that's pretty insightful, man. Because like
yeah,
he's one of the people that I hear about like pretty, not, I won't say regularly, but his name comes up whenever we're just hanging out in different sessions, like specifically throughout Sacramento. Whenever you hang out with people who are around like the the 06, 07 time frame, they always
hmm
talk about knowing Dark Mike at that time, like prior to his passing. So thanks for
right,
giving us a little insight about that one too.
yeah, no
So,
problem.
moving on to something more like a little bit more recent, about the pretty much the new enforcement and progression of like rules and regulations as your time being like put in as an admin of Sacramento Smash. Like, do you kind of want to go over like pretty much your reasoning and like how you're gonna like go about establishing like these, not establishing, but I'll say like pretty much keeping these rules and keeping things in check.
Yeah, sure. So I stepped in because Jay, like, I've known him since since 10 years ago. He started when I was one of the top 5, top 10 players here in SAC.
Mm-hmm.
And, he told me, he's like, "Oh man, I used to look up to you." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, now you fucking body me." Um,
Yeah.
and it sucks when you see people like him and like Josh and, I can't think of the other person off the top of my head right now, but it sucks when you see them like, God, I fucking hate this community, man. I can't deal with it anymore. And I know Jay didn't necessarily leave because of, the rules that I posted or whatever,
Right.
but he left because he got tired of people hounding him and saying, "Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this?" And it's like, and I got pissed off, because I'm like, that kind of stuff didn't happen 10 years ago. We were helping
Mm-hmm.
we were helping each other. We never gave each other a pile of shit. I keep mentioning, hey, the PR wasn't allowed on Smashboards, and
Yeah.
it wasn't until there was a big push from NorCal specifically, to get that sort of thing going again. I mean, who knows how long it would have been before we even saw another PR,
Okay.
And I mean, kind of as a caveat to that, I don't think it should have been all on Jay in the first place anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
I can agree with that.
yeah,
That's a big task for anybody, really, realistically.
right. And I mean, as far as, enforcing the rules, I would love to come to a consensus with everybody.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to just like, I admit, and I went into a post about this earlier. I was probably heavy-handed in my first couple days. I was trying you know, to flip out about it, and I went overboard.
Okay.
Period. So I'm backtracking a little bit, and I'm not trying to ban every single thing that might be shit posty, that might be bad, because it's like, I keep seeing shit posts, please report, please ban, and it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
want to say something but can't, just got to
I
deal with it.
I understand, man. So,
Yeah.
because looking at it that way, it's like I can see why it's like coming in. It's like after, especially like with, I won't call it a debacle, but with the whole situation after Jay posting his initial draft of like, his PR coming up, and then the immediate turnaround, literally like the day after, there was almost like 400 to 500 like comments on there of like what people thought should have been, or like people saying that it was like not even like, it wasn't just like criticism, it was like how it was coming off, because it was like there were points that I could agree with when people saying like something should have been changed, something should have been a certain way, maybe he should like come together with a group of people and try to work on it, because that's a huge thing for anybody to take on, especially by themselves.
Hmm.
So like looking at it like that, I can be like, okay, yeah, so I can see it from their point, but at the same time you got to look at it. Homie stood up like all night working on that shit by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at it that way, and if someone were to come up, if I were to wake up the next day looking at it like, if someone were to like have 400 to 500 comments on like all the shit that I just put all that effort into, I'd be sick and tired of it anyway. On top of other things of people probably personally talking to him about some other shit too. But looking at it that way, it's like I can see from both sides like why it is that somebody wants something to be done, and why it is that he wanted some form of like, if not appreciation, recognition for his work. Because obviously, like he said himself, he stood from like, what was it, all the way up till 6 that day working on that shit.
Yep. Yep.
So it's like that's kind of like that's kind of a shitty thing for everybody, like, well, not everybody, but for a large amount of people to dish out like criticism and also like just negative comment. Because like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, a lot of people were just being fucking rude over it too. So it's like, at the end of the day, it's like people were giving out criticisms like to the point to where they can help him improve the PR that he drafted, and he said it was a work in progress. So that's why I was like, I saw the comments of people saying, hey, maybe you should check over this, maybe you should look at this. Some people were just straight up like, no dude, that's fucking wrong, this looks fucking stupid. Or I'm like, yo, like, y'all gotta chill out with that shit, like, because honestly, had it been me, I would have been out. Like, I'm telling you, like, Jay had like thicker skin than I would have in that situation. I've been like, yo, fuck it, y'all want to do it, y'all can do it. I'd have been like, I stayed up till like fucking 6 a.m. and y'all gonna shit on me for that? I would have been out. I'd have been like, yo, I'm done, first and foremost. So I, big respect to Jay for even doing that shit. And honestly, I can't fault him for wanting to, take a step back and like, leaving the group in itself either. So it's like, looking at it, it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, go ahead.
As far as it goes for making sure that like you can reach a consensus with like kind of like how we go about like allowing posts and things like not to proceed, like what did you want to try to like do for that?
I don't know. You don't see stuff like what we see in Sac Smash in official NorCal Melee. You don't see it in NorCal PM community. You don't see it in any other community because, I don't know, maybe it just was never tolerated from the get-go. Maybe we had more active admins in those other communities. People say that, we need our own personality, and that's fine. I'm not trying to shit on your personality. I want you guys to just keep the chat or the page that most people are going to come to from around here relatively clean, not Hasso Samus all fucking day. You know what I mean? Because there were days, and I know you've seen it, there were days where literally 15, 16 posts were copy pasta, and it's just, if new people come and see that, like, they're gonna be like, wow, these guys are a bunch of like 14-year-olds. I don't want to hang out with them. I mean, did you actually look at that Reddit post from like, I don't know, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, or whatever it was?
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
No, I was asking you.
Oh,
did
my
you look
bad.
Yeah. Did you see that Reddit post that the guy was like,
he was like, oh yeah, I looked at this community and it was, I remember. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, but it was for the. All right, that I look at it and it's like seeing stuff like that every once in a while. I think it's funny, obviously, because it's like it is, but it's like I can also see like seeing it so commonly, it's all the time. It's like every day you got this, you got that, copy pasta here, shit post there, and it's just like every day, every other day. I'm just like, all right, there does have to be some form of drawback or some form of limitation with that. So I can understand, but also saying that like never having it ever again is just like, that's gonna obviously like do nothing but turn heads the wrong way. Like people are just gonna be like, all right, so this guy's telling me I can't do that, I'm gonna be like, fuck you, just because you're telling me not to do it. Because even though people won't directly say it, you'll see it in their action. It's like you tell someone not to do this, or you say, hey, please don't post this thing, or please don't post this, and then someone's gonna sit here and be like, hey, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway because that's what I've been doing. And then they're gonna get banned for it, and then they're gonna go off somewhere else in some other form of social media, keep stirring the pot of shit anywhere or anywhere else. But hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat too. I'm trying to see what.
Because going back to a question, well, not really a question, but a statement Trey had. He was saying that Jay had already told Toucan that he was going to get a panel together to make the PR, but then Jay kind of went about making a PR on his own. So it's like, it makes sense that like Jay would try to form a panel, because that's like that seems like the most responsible way to go about it. But looking at it, it's like he did just kind of go out. Like I definitely was not expecting him to come up and make a PR just kind of out of nowhere, you know. So looking at that, it's just like, you know, it's understandable that because he made it right, that does not mean that, you know, you can't really discredit his work. He shouldn't have really done it on his own, because apparently there was an agreement or an understanding in place that he was going to work with the panel. So it's like I can understand definitely why it is that, you know, he should have like went about going with the panel, but at the same time, even though he made like a PR on his own, he did claim already that it was like a work in progress. It wasn't official. It wasn't like that's
Right.
what was getting posted up. So it's like it's not the fact that he made the PR on his own and then like, you know, it he got shit on for it. It's the fact that he already made the claim within the post in like the drafted PR in itself, and he said it was a draft. So it's like obviously like for whatever terms and purposes, like there could have been any whole other things that could have went with it. Now I could probably talk to Jay another time. We could probably get a time where we sit here and talk to him about, you know, everything prior to that, if he would ever want to do it.
Hmm.
Jason
Yeah.
hitting us up with the follow. Not no, that's follow the host. That's the first time I've seen that. See, I didn't even know what to say. But yeah. So it's like looking at it. Like I said, like if you look at both of these sides, you can see why each side would say what they say. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta, you can't really pick a side because no one's technically right. But you can understand why they're on whatever side they feel about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Um, yeah, I want to get to something that Alan's saying a lot. He's saying, I guess that only good players should be admin.
Well, that
Um,
doesn't make sense.
right. I don't like.
Because it's like, because realistically, if it was good players that were admin, like you would go off of your PR. Just statistically speaking, because if you think about it that way, if you're saying that you want only your good players or players who have been recognized to be good, it would only be people who's on the PR or whoever
Right.
be on the PR or recognized or even voted in or some point to be determined to be good, and those people would be chosen by the people who are on the PR. So DP would be, you know, obviously he would still be, you know, an admin. Clearly he
Right.
does. Clearly he doesn't give a fuck really about like, you know, all this crazy shit going on because he doesn't have
Right.
to. You know, this isn't his concern. The people who would be most reason, you know, who would handle these situations reasonably should be the people who would go about and do it. Not saying that people who are good or people who are on the PR are not qualified, but if they're one of the people who will go about like saying that I'm gonna shut this down and I'm gonna only make this happen this way, or you have the same person who's on the PR or another person on the PR who feels the exact opposite way, you're gonna have nothing but conflict.
Right.
So you're gonna have
Well,
nothing.
and I mean, if you look at, the PR stuff that's been going on the past couple days, like
Mm-hmm.
you look at all the stuff that Mike's been saying, like who's to say that he wouldn't just be like, "Oh, if you don't agree with me, delete,
Ban, immediate ban,
delete,
like, because that's what I'm
ban."
saying, like,
Exactly.
because it's like y'all like in, you know what, I'm not gonna put words in Mike's mouth. I'm not gonna say actions because I don't know him all that well. But it's
Yeah, I
like
know him really
realistically,
well.
it was like well, definitely you know him more than I do. But I'm not gonna
Hmm.
sit here and say like, hey, you know, this person's sitting here like, you know, shit posting, or this person's sitting here causing trouble or arguing or, you know, harassing somebody, and then it's like the person's gonna turn around when you know bring it to their attention. They'll be like, oh no, I was doing this because this, that, and the other, and then like you're like, oh well, I can see their point, but you're still fucking up and you pissed me off already, so immediately your ass is banned. You know, like there's almost no discussion half the time.
Right. Whereas I don't mind saying, "Hey, you don't agree with me? Talk about it. You can PM me, tell me what your problem is." I just what I'm trying to do is say, "Hey, no garbage in Sack Smash, like shit posting." Apparently, Tits and Me Mario is a huge thing right now, and
I don't even get that, to tell
try
you the truth. I
try
don't
try
even
not
know.
to be a dick. Like that's all I'm trying to say. You know.
I mean, that seems like a pretty common sense thing to ask for too, because it's like it feels like only over within the span of like the last year, it's only gotten like to this point. Because like when I remember, like I've only been a part of it for like about 2.5 years. It wasn't always like that. Like it wasn't like, you know, people doing like things to the extent that they've done to the point where they had to get like all the posts banned or they had to get like removed from the group. Posts been, excuse me, threads being deleted. You know, people getting. it's gotten to a point to where we have to make a whole nother Facebook group called like Sacramento Melee Hell. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that in anything that I've ever played, like in any game ever. I've never seen that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's like, obviously it has clearly only escalated to get to this point, but it has not like, obviously, see, look. See? And it's like,
Yeah.
and then it's like, when people, actually, you know what? Since people are go ahead and doing it right now, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
So I would say something right now. Hey, don't do this. What is it? What is it? An image, a text,
The,
whatever.
that's so I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, don't spam this, or I'll even say, please don't spam this, and people are gonna keep doing it. You know why? Because I'm telling them not to, and
Mhm.
then they're gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna spam it. I'm gonna spam it, and then I'm gonna spam it, and then I'm gonna be like, hey, don't do this, and then I'm gonna say, do it again, and you're done. That's it. And then once it comes down to that point, it's like, I'm telling you not to do this. I gave you a reason. No, I didn't even have to give you a reason. I'm telling you not to do something. And then it'll be like, boom, bam. People get mad. People get mad if they get, and then it's like, hey, this person's a dick. This person's a Nazi. This person's a dictator. And it's like, shit like that. That's, I'm gonna even point to it because I had to get that whole Mario bullshit that y'all see flowing up. That's an example of what it can be like. Because it's like, whenever people do shit like that, and then it comes down to a point where it's like, hey, don't do this. We don't want to do this. We want to have like a regular standard. If y'all want to do this, we literally now have a whole nother group for y'all to do that. And I'm just like, I can understand why people will sit here and say shit like that. But it's like, if I sit here and like, just even doing it for the pure sake of example, ban everybody who just posted that. And y'all know that it was like, y'all know that y'all did that just because it was a shit post or a copy pasta, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm very out of touch with trolling shit like that. But when y'all do shit like that, and then when one of the admins catch wind of it, and then you either get your post deleted, one of y'all gets banned, or some shit or the other, y'all go to another group, and they'll be like, hey, this person's a dick. This person's like a Nazi. This person's this, that, and the other. And it's like, you know that you're not supposed to do it. It's not a real, it's not really much to guess about.
Right.
It's pretty straightforward. It's like, if you're actually having a discussion, then it makes sense. But when you sit there and spam like the tits of me thing, that's what it is. The tits of me Mario thing, or the Mario sitting there taking a shit. I'm like, I'm actually kind of impressed that y'all even know how to manipulate text like that. But we're not gonna get into that.
Right.
But when y'all do stuff like that in a group that's predominantly made so people can get in touch with other people who are playing different games of Smash Brothers, whether it be anything from Melee, PM, Brawl, whatever the fuck y'all got going on, and then like you do something that has nothing to do with that, and then you start like doing the copy pasta thing. You start doing the spam Mario as an example, things in there, and then the mods kind of delete your thread. It doesn't make sense why you get mad about it. Now, if it was something like two people were sitting here and talking about getting together for doing a session and then doing a tournament, possibly talking about more things down the line, and then like you just see a couple people doing a couple of shitty things, like doing a couple of jokes like you're free, fuck you, whatever. I could look past something like that because that's just people talking shit. Talking shit is not the same as like being like cancerous and spamming shit all down through a thread, activating someone's notifications just to see what they do, I think that's a line that needs to be drawn. People taking away things that are like, talking shit, making jokes or whatever, to just sitting there spamming all kind of like here, like you can see it right now, like stuff like that as an example. You see what I mean? It's like when people do shit like that, it has nothing to do with the game. Any of the games, actually. Since we're just saying Sacramento Smash in general, it doesn't make sense. So when people do shit like that, and then they catch a ban or they catch a thread getting deleted, they get mad. I don't understand. Like, it don't make no sense.
Yeah. So let me, I guess since I was gonna get into something, but now I can't find it. I gotta scroll past all the it's and me stuff. Okay, so I guess Alan was saying that admins should only be people who are active. I'm
That's even
not
worse.
active. I'm not active in the sense that I don't want to compete, because I was saying that I'm not improving at an acceptable rate to me anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
frankly, I just don't have time to go to cafe every Tuesday,
Right.
Sacktown Melee every other Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, what I try to do, and this is what I want to put this out to everybody, I'm running my tournaments, which whatever, that's cool. But also, if you guys want to lab, hit me up. I have to drive out of town for work all the time. So just
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, I was trying to smash with a couple guys in Placerville. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because people, my clients were taking all fucking day. Um,
Yeah, man, I feel it.
but like whenever I can come just hang out and say, hey, look, I'm not terrible at this game. Let me show you how you know, let me show you what you can do better if if you're not as good as me. And if you're better than me, fuck it, I'll give you a warm up with Fox. I really,
Mm-hmm.
or Cheek or Marth or whatever you want to do. I want to play, like, I don't mind trying to get better. That's cool, but really at this point, like I said, I'm not good enough. I'm not improving at a rate that I would like to actually compete. So when I
Yeah.
play with people, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more about them.
Yeah, more so for
Yeah,
the enjoyment of the game and the fact that you
yeah,
get to help either other people progress or you build yourself up, but it'll be within your own time. Yeah, man, I feel it. That's
yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah, and it's like on top of that, people have been coming to me because, I said, hey, I want to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I had this. Let me see if I can find his name. This gentleman who has a charity organization, Gamers Gift or something like that. He's got this huge event coming up in April, and
Mm-hmm.
he asked me. He's like, hey, can you get Sack Smash to attend this place? And that's another thing that I want to do. I want to help try and organize us to go to charity events too, or
Yeah.
to Matt.Zeb. I've been talking with him about tournament results. That's not that big a deal. I mean, I think he's been talking with Toucan and
Yeah,
Jay about that stuff.
he's
But
been going pretty out of his way to get in touch with people in between like Sacramento,
yeah,
Yuba, Roseville, Rockland, I think Auburn. Is there Auburn? I don't know. But yeah, he's been going pretty far out of his way to make sure that he gets a lot of recognition for pretty much every tournament that's going to be going on in NorCal. So
mm-hmm.
he's been on that shit like a dog, man. It's crazy. But yeah, but
What?
for
Hang on. What? Adrian, which event are you talking about?
you were saying that, did you say that the event that you I don't know, I don't think you said the guy's name. But you said he was trying to get Sacramento Smash involved in it. You said it was a charity event, correct?
Yeah, they're way in the preliminary stages right now. I guess Trey talked to him or whatever, but let's see. Yeah, Gamer's Gift. All he sent me was a form,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they've got the venue booked for April 29th. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'll link the form, but
But yeah, there's
that's
nothing been set in
that's
stone yet.
that's the extent of the that's the extent of the information that I got. So,
Okay. Well, either way, that's something already to look forward to, and that's only 2 months away. Well, 2 months and some change, but that's still pretty close. So that's a good idea of like things that could be coming our way. So that in
mhm.
itself is pretty good.
Yeah.
So let me try to get back to. I already done forgot because I know you brought it up. It was actually one of the questions I had too. You want to tell
Okay.
everybody a little bit about the bi-weeklies that you started back up too?
Okay. Yeah. So right now it's monthlies. It takes place in Rancho. It's at 135 Mill Station Road. It's a mobile home park, but the clubhouse is huge. Like I think it's the
Yeah,
most spacious venue. You were there, Marcus, so
yeah. It
you
was
know.
actually really. It was. There's definitely a lot of space.
Yeah.
Tables, chairs.
Yep. Yep. And the only thing we need is setups. I got one, and as long as you homies to come and bring setups, then we should have a pretty good tournament that's nice and spacious. The room is totally ours, so it's not like we got to worry about customers from the bar, customers from a comic shop or whatever coming in. So play whatever fucking music you want. I'm gonna have a wireless speaker so that you guys can bump whatever the fuck you want to. The last time I ran it was Genesis 4.
Mm-hmm.
I had a flat screen in there streaming that, and I don't have a streaming setup right now, but if anybody wants to bring a streaming setup, I'd be more than happy to stream the event. There's halfway decent Wi-Fi in there, so
I feel it. I might bring mine. Like, when's the next one that's happening? Is it next week?
yeah, it's next Saturday,
Yeah, so
February
next
18th.
Saturday. I'll probably bring it out, and then I'll probably see if I can like chop together a little overlay or see if I can hit somebody up to get to make one for it. But yeah, I could probably come through and actually, if not stream it, I could definitely record it and then chop it and then put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we can definitely have that going. So either way,
Hmm. Yeah. So Adrian, there's not food trucks, but my significant other will be cooking probably chili cheese nachos next time. Chicken and chili cheese, and then I can buy soda before the event. So whatever drinks you guys want, I'll go buy a couple of 12 packs or 24 packs or whatever, and that'll be supplied. And then we got the dollar DJ fee with the music.
hmm
And then yeah, if you guys want some kind of fucking snack that I can buy, I'll buy it, and yep, I'll have it on sale for you at the venue. So um, yeah.
yeah, like I said, man, like when I went through, I definitely enjoyed it. And it was really, and obviously it was sick because we had Genesis in the background going on. Got to watch the games, got to sit back, got to do some friendlies.
Hmm.
Mike, Melvin, TC1 came through too. So I hadn't seen him since like last year. I think at the last like charity tournament that was going on. And then I don't even remember what else. It was just like nice because it was like there was actually space so you could move.
And couches, and I have like I think there's like 5 or 6 round tables. Those would be for like double setups, and then I have a bunch of like those regular long tables.
Yeah,
I think there's like 5 or 6 of those, so you could have potentially like almost 20 setups in that room. So if the tournament got huge, I have the space to accommodate that.
it's true. It's like I think one thing that would also I'm not sure if you did it before, but if you put up like I think did you put up pictures of the venue too, or was it just like a description of the venue?
Yeah, I put up one picture. I should have took pictures at the last event. I
Yeah,
didn't
if
think
you get a
about it,
chance
but
to, if not for next Saturday, then like anytime if you are able to get a chance to go back to the club room again, if you want to take more pictures of it to give people an idea of how much space, like there's actually like a pretty good amount of space in there. Like it's pretty notable that it's like, and they had like couches in there too.
hmm
They had couches. Like Tommy, obviously, like he said, he brought a speaker so you can play music. Just pay him. What was it, $1?
yeah, dollar gets you 2 songs. I don't give a fuck what it is as long as it's not. I don't know, the worst thing ever. Like what do they call those fucking horns that they take to Brazilian soccer games? The
Uh,
zoo. Yeah,
I don't know what they call. I know what you're
10,
talking
10
about.
hours 10 hours of
Sucker horn.
that shit. Yeah. So I actually don't know anything about the ES FTA beef.
That sounds like something I've heard about, but I don't know what that is either. So,
Right. Yeah. So if you guys in the chat want to talk about it, that's fine. Because like I said, I don't know anything about it. Now, I don't know.
I feel it.
I'm not a Nazi. No. Um,
Oh yeah. So like,
it,
I think a few people did join after. Like you kind of like address like, not really trying to be like like ban Hammer like as like first response for everything. He is willing to obviously like look at the situation and then discuss people with it personally. He's probably not gonna put the whole situation on blast for people to kind of just like act like fucking chimps about it. But if you talk to Tommy about stuff, like 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, there will never really ever be a reason for it not to have a reasonable discussion about whatever's going on. But if you're
yeah.
acting like a shitter, then obviously you should be expected to be treated like a shitter. So there should be no real surprise about that. That's like common sense. If someone tells you, "Hey, stop, stop touching me or stop poking me or stop, some childish shit," and you keep poking them and touching them, and then like Principal Tommy walks in, he's like, "Hey, stop being a shitter," and then you keep doing it, and then you get your ass in trouble. You can't get mad at them for that. Like there's like obvious situations that people just like keep instigating, and then when somebody does something, everybody gets mad.
hmm Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
No. I like you brought up. Talk to me. If you have a problem, like if you don't like the way I'm doing something, just message me. I mean, Lindsay had to take a step back for a little while, so I'm pretty much the sole guy that people should put their hate on right now, anyways. Um, if you have a problem with me going too far, just ask me.
Hmm.
I would appreciate it if you PM'd me, but if you wanted to put it up for everybody to see, that's fine too. And just say, hey, I really like. I don't see why you went this far with this, or why you think that this is shit posting, or whatever.
Yeah.
The first couple days after, I made the announcement, there like I was out of control as far as like, oh man, this is shit post. Oh man, this is shit post. But then what was it? Alan and Reggie blew up the page, and
Was that
that's
earlier this week?
yeah,
Was that
like
last week?
yeah, that was like a couple days after it happened.
Oh,
And that to me is just like, hey, fuck the rules. Like, you're being a rebel just because you can.
Yeah.
Um,
That's exactly it.
yeah. So when all you had to do was say, hey, look, why don't you not be such a Nazi, like he's saying now.
Yeah.
Um, that's fine. Just message me. Don't blow up the page because you're trying to spite me or whoever else. Or put it up on the main page and say, hey, these are some of the rules that suck ass, and I think we should do something different about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running out of things to say.
I feel
So
it.
if you guys have
'Cause,
questions,
yeah,
hit
I was
me
actually
up.
about to get. Yeah, so right now, I guess we're gonna just open it up. A couple more questions for Tommy. Um, hey Tommy, not sure if you heard, but I admitted to causing most of this shitstorm on stream last week.
I did hear some of that, but I'm not. Uh, I appreciate that you kind of had my back in the situation, but that's all right.
So what was the shitstorm that had happened? That's what he said. So.
So one of the things, specifically, I think it was Trey that was asking if he could get in touch with the player Dank,
Mm-hmm.
and Jason didn't know that there was a person named Dank. He just assumed that Trey was trying to shitpost, and yeah, and so he was like, "Why the fuck did I get banned for that?" Or he didn't get banned, but I think that post got deleted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, there's Jason
Oh.
owning up to it. Yeah.
That whole time. Oh my god, that was funny. I was like,
Yeah.
that. So it was Jason. It was Jason that was at the source of all this bullshit.
Right, yeah, everybody fucking yell at Jason. He's clearly the worst person ever.
Out here fucking up. No, but all right, but yeah, that's an example of how like a misunderstanding can just be completely avoided. Just
let
people
me,
just ask.
since Alan's here, do you think that Brian should have been an admin while he was here?
Like just for Alan,
Brian,
like for
yeah.
Alan answer or just for everybody? Because like
everybody.
I would say yes. Like that. Honestly, I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised to find out now that he wasn't. Because I mean, it would make the most sense. Honestly, he's like one of the most. He's like whenever I would think of like a figurehead for a community while he was here, actively, obviously being a TO and just being involved in everything as I've known him.
Mm-hmm.
It would make the most sense for Brian to be an admin for the page because he's one of the more reasonable people that I've honestly met since I've moved out here. So
yeah,
and he has the experience clearly.
And he was and Stacy's bum. That's Trey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So to what you're saying, yeah, I understand. I'm not saying that because I was a TO I should be an admin. I asked for it because it nobody else seemed to be doing anything. People were leaving for various reasons, stuff that could have been taken care of just with a little bit of moderation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided that, hey, let me step up. Let me try and change things so that we were like the community that we were 10 years ago when everybody was everybody's best friend and we weren't just sitting here shit posting about everything constantly. And I'll tell you, I was a fucking just retarded asshole. Like if you go look at my old Smashboards posts,
Mm-hmm.
I used to say stupid shit like to Josh. I'm like, well, it's because you like men. Like if you look at that, it's just I was so dumb, and it's like when you grow up and you start realizing how dumb you were when you look at that shit, and I'm like, oh my god. So yeah, I just and I was an asshole to the community, and I didn't like it. Back then, and and now I'm trying to change that for everybody, so that that's why like Sac Melee Hell is a good thing for you guys.
Yeah.
That you guys should have that post, or you should have that page to fill it up with whatever the fuck you want. It's like if people like you, like there's a bunch of people who say, oh yeah, Adrian's hella, or all you guys are cool, and you are. Like when we fucking hang out, it's cool. Like I like you guys are funny and it's fun playing with you and shit like that. But when other people come here and they're like, oh man, I just moved to Sacramento, let's play some Melee, and then they see money match me nerd, fuck up, and stuff like that, they're like,
that can definitely
like, am I gonna get yelled at for going to tournaments and shit?
Yeah,
because I'm a scrub. Because
it's like looking at it, it's like at the end of the day, it's like the people who are already accustomed to being a part of like Sacramento Smash are not gonna look at it as as like people just being shitters and being all nutty and everything. But we don't look like, more often than not, people don't look at it from someone who's new, who's going to be coming in. They're going to say, obviously, as you said, hey, I want to play this game, or hey, I want to show up to this tournament. And then it's like, hey, is anybody doing a session, and is anybody playing anywhere, is there a tournament anywhere? And then it's like within the time frame of before the fall of the fall of like the trolls of old, I'll say. And then it's like someone's like, he's like, obviously, like, what is the catchphrase nowadays, like just like the fuck up, the sayings, the long hair, the didn't ask, the it's like just going in like that, because it's like obviously everybody didn't do that, but there's some people who didn't get the memo that new people don't know what the hell we're doing. And so it's like some people would literally just do that to new people, and then it's like that person would never ask or make a post or try to join in on a session or a tournament again because of that.
Yeah, there's Adrian. Right, yeah, but see, what I'm saying though is most people lurk before they even decide to post anything.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna watch the chat for a while before, or the page, whatever, before I say anything. And when people when you see that every response, despite the fact that people might know each other, would have like a serious question followed by stupid bullshit, then they're gonna be like, I think I'm just gonna play Street Fighter, or I'm just gonna play Marvel.
I think I'm just gonna go somewhere else. Like I think I'm just gonna shell out for this fight stick and just suffer with Street Fighter 5 for the rest of the forever. Nah, man, trust me. Like I understand. I've been in that position at one point before I even got down and was like, hey, these guys actually aren't too bad after all. I was almost like that. I was about to be like, what the hell, fuck this. Like I came in playing Street Fighter in Sac. I was about to be out. Like it wasn't gonna be no Smash Brother anything for a while. Then I got to know everybody to some extent, and then I'm like, hey, these guys aren't too bad. But everybody isn't like gonna have that mindset whenever they see that one time. Everybody's not gonna be like, oh, these random people shit talk me. Let's push through it and try to see if we can be friends anyway. No, typically if you shit talk somebody online who you're meeting for the first time, they're not gonna be inclined to want to push through it and try to see your point of view or see how cool y'all actually are. This, that, and the other. They're not gonna want to do that. I get that everybody doesn't see it that way. Like obviously because we all know each other, we understand what the situation is. A new person is not going to think that way. They have no reason to think that way. They're not going to be inclined to.
Right. And I mean, so to get at what people are saying, I'm not saying they get shit talked. I'm saying all they see on the page is shit talk. Like if all they see is, hey, you guys want to play long hair, don't care. And, to be honest, like it probably happened more because, you guys were most active on the page. Or they were. But what I'm saying is if people are looking at this and they don't know what, it's like they move to Sacramento, they see all these posts, like they're not going to want to comment. At least I don't want to say people like me, but I'm a lurker. There's probably there is a shitload of workers
Yeah,
on Sack Smash.
there's like
There's
a
1,200
thousand. Yeah, there's
members.
1,200 people. At
Yeah.
least 500 are bots, and then the
Well,
rest are
yeah.
lurkers, and then
But
like 100
hey, I
people are
mean,
active.
700 and actually post on Sack Smash. There's like 80 or 90, but there's still that potential of like, let's be generous and say 40 people who are lurking, and all they see is BS 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 BS. They're gonna be like, I don't think I want to bother trying to say, hey, does anybody want to come play with me? I'm pretty scrubby, but
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, hang on. Damn, actually, let me go through. Because there was one question I saw earlier that I was going to bring up.
Yeah,
Let me
go
see
ahead.
if I can find it. Because, okay, you know what? Let's address it like this then. Because it seems like everybody's kind of just like making a lot of comments. Only a couple people are kind of just getting addressed with their questions. So let's go ahead and address some of the people's concerns who are commenting in the chat. So, all right, Reggie. So you're saying that Tommy's speaking from his side because this is his interview. So that's why that is okay. And yeah, people definitely do. Let's see. Looking at Alan's comment, it makes you want to rebel even more. To be honest, if I see someone new at cafe, I'm definitely talking shit. I don't wobble, but I will and tell them to get good. So this is kind of what I mean. It's like you make a lot of good points and then you immediately roll back into kind of joking around and talking nonsense. I won't even say talking shit, just kind of just being funny and silly and whatnot. But then you'll immediately flip back and turn around and talk about something serious. So it's like if you want someone to address you seriously and to put your input in, have that discussion. Have that discussion all the way through. Have the discussion all the way out. If you sit here and roll around in this shit, and then you get mad at people for saying that you smell like shit, it doesn't make sense. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, you're smart. You're obviously smart. I've had plenty of discussions with you, but you'll go around and sit here, do what you just did, literally in chat. It's been recorded, and it's here for me to read. I'm looking at it. And then you'll actually input something that you truly feel like you want to talk about, but you'll mix it together so often that's kind of hard to know when you want to be taken seriously or not. If you want a serious discussion, I'm more than glad to talk to you about something, but it's like you can't do something like that and then get upset, and then be like, oh, well, this person's being a Nazi, this person's doing this, I feel this way, this person's been trying to do this person's trying to do that, and then roll right back around with the fuck ups, the same as the don't cares, the long hairs, and then it doesn't make sense. So you see how that can kind of be confusing, because it's like, obviously I know like when you want to be taken seriously, because you'll actually sit there and input your full point and try to validate it with solid reasoning. You've done that and you still do it, but in the middle of doing that, you'll sit back and roll right back into troll mode. I don't understand it, because it's like, obviously, like, if you want to talk, I can set it up, we can talk, we can get it going, but I kind of wanted to take Tommy's bit, because this is his interview. This is why I kind of set this up. We can do an interview. I'll do an interview with you. I won't do an interview with a whole bunch of people at the same time, because there's going to be a bunch of people talking over each other, because I already know how that's going to go. So if y'all want to set something up, if y'all want to have an interview, if y'all want to have your bits taken out, we can do that. But you can't get upset when y'all knew good hell well all day today that this was going to happen, and then get upset when a person gives their point in their interview. That doesn't make sense. But either way, so closing comments, closing concerns, closing questions for anybody that might actually have something for Tommy in regards to him coming in, stepping up as an admin, future sessions and tournaments he's going to hold, his availability for playing. Please let him know, because right now we're probably going to go ahead and wrap it up, because I don't want to bite too far into Jason's time, because I know he wants to start streaming soon. But
yeah. Any questions at all? As far as my closing comments are concerned, I'm really just trying to help. That's it. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I know it may have sounded that way, and I'm sorry for that when I had my pin post. But really, what I'm trying to do is to create a nicer community overall. The PR discussion, Mike was flipping his shit
Yeah,
just
Mike was.
post after post after post after post. And so I blocked it. I didn't want to stop discussion. Discussion's a good thing, you know. Jokes are fine too. It's shit posting and memeing and spamming that I have a problem with. Now, as far as the PR discussions are concerned, you guys didn't want me to be a part of that. I'm not a part of that. Toucan and Wilson are on the panel for sure. I know that. Beyond that, I don't know who else is on there. So direct your comments to them if you guys have anything to say about that. I think Mike's wrong, by the way, as far as Melvin being on the PR. That's
So what was that exactly? What was his whole
well.
grievance?
So Melvin or Mike's, and it was. I did want to get into this. Melvin's or Mike's problem with Cafe is that part of it is that Cafe devalues other tournaments. And the reason for that is because if people want to take time off to go to one tournament, they'll go to the cheap $2 tournament over the $5 tournaments that are literally everywhere else.
True.
I mean, and yeah. So yeah, like that's people don't want to go to other events because it's $1. Is it $1 venue fee at Cafe?
It's $1. I think is it? No, it's just $2.
Or is it free venue?
No, it's just it's free venue. It's free venue. You just pay for the tournament. So before it was $1. So you literally just pay $1 to be in the tournament, or if you just want to hang out, and then when the tournament's going, if you manage to snag a setup, you can just play. But now it's like it's just straight $2. So yeah, it's a pretty cheap tournament to get in on. So it makes sense.
And so right, and so as a result of that, nobody wants. Well, I guess I don't want to get in trouble.
No.
I want to say the super serious players go to the more expensive tournaments.
True.
I mean, let's say it like this. The more casual players are going to go to Cafe.
Yes.
The more serious players are going to go to the bigger, the more money tournaments. I mean, if you asked the top players, they would laugh their asses off at you for saying, "Oh yeah, $2 serious tournament," you know. And so I can see where Mike's like justification is. He's like, okay, Cafe shouldn't count because it was $1 tournament. Now it's a $2 tournament. Like, why would you take it seriously? You're not really losing anything compared to $5, you know. So, and that was another one of his arguments. He's like, people say they take it seriously, and when they lose, they're like, whatever. It was a $2 tournament. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, because it's like
so.
Yeah, that's another one of those like. I won't say slippery slopes, but I can definitely understand, like, just from a tournament perspective, why it is that, like, Cafe shouldn't really count for a power ranking, because it's, like, it is $2. Like, there's never really been a standardization of, like, what it is that qualifies people for PR. Kind of like, yeah, because you shared the post from NorCal PM on how they have standardizations for who gets qualifies for the PRs. And the minimum requirement for anybody that gets into a tournament that would have them place for power ranking placement or whatever, it has to be at least $5. At least 2 PR people have to be present, and then I forgot how many you have to actually attend to be considered.
One a month, I believe it was.
Yeah, but for them it was like one a month. Obviously, like for Sacramento, it's like if they brought up the price, it would have to be a little bit more than one per month. If Cafe itself was going to be on, but yeah.
Right. So Trey, the fact that it's PM doesn't mean anything. Like it's the clear rules that are in the on the paperwork or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That is more important to me than the fact that it's PM. Like basically so people can not stop whining, but like they can see, okay, this is our justification for choosing who should be on the PR and who shouldn't be. And when people can look and see those rules before it comes out, then, there would be less crap. Like Mike, he had a huge problem because he was told that Cafe didn't count. And so Melvin didn't want to go to Cafe because it didn't count. To be honest with you, I don't know why they care. They're clearly two of the best players in SAC. Why does a leaderboard why should a leaderboard mean anything to them, honestly?
I ask that question often. I asked them that, and I don't think I ever got a direct answer either. It's like because at one point Cafe didn't count, now it just does because it's like they added one of the additional dollars that you already pay to get in, which doesn't make sense. But yeah, back to your statement, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm just saying for discussion for PR, it would be better for everybody if there were clear rules that people can see. Like, okay, so I need to go to at least this many tournaments. Okay, cafe counts. Okay, um, money matches don't count or something like that. Things
Yeah.
like that. Like that would be a good thing for the PR. I'm sorry that Jay had to do it on his own.
Hmm.
And honestly, I think that the panel shouldn't necessarily have to justify every single one of their decisions
They
to
don't.
everybody.
Truthfully, they don't.
You know,
Because
yeah,
that's just going to do nothing but cause headaches. You don't have to justify. Realistically, it's like once an official decision has been made for a ranking, you don't say nothing. Like it's already been made. Like there's nothing else that needs to be done because it's already out. But
mhm.
that's just me. Like I said, like y'all are a lot more lenient than I am because I would have literally just like made it as it was and would have left it, and people would just
Mhm.
have been mad because
Mhm.
I mean that's
Yeah.
just what it
Well,
is.
that's and if you guys on the PR panel want to say that, just want to say, look, here is our criteria, um, and based on that, this is our power rankings, and lock the thread. That's fine. That's all you need to do. Like you guys, like I mean, if you guys want to discuss with people, then that's totally up to you. I'm not. I let that beast do what it wants to do, but
Hmm.
you know, um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean, I've been talking for a while and
I feel it. Like yeah,
answering
because
any questions. So if people have like, I don't know how long Marcus wants to answer questions for, but whenever you're ready, just let me know, and I guess we'll call it there.
yeah. I guess I'll just do a quick check. Any actual like last check, last questions. I will say like one thing though, even though I don't want to keep holding there because I'm supposed to wrap it up. But
Hmm.
Griffin does have a question. He's gonna post it here in a second.
Okay.
But the fact that like we can use like I won't say we'll use PM as a as a precedent, but it's like the fact that no matter what you think of the game, no matter how you feel about the people who play it, this, that, and the other, they have clear defined rules. They have clear defined standards and clear defined regulations as to how they go about things. We don't. Because look right now, it's like Trey's sitting here saying right now that apparently according to Razer, cafes have always counted. I've always been told up until the price raise of cafe a couple months ago, it never counted. That's what I was told specifically by people who were on the freaking who were a part of the what do you call it panels for PR. They would tell me that, so I was just like, oh okay, well I just won't go that often or I won't go at all because it doesn't really matter, and I'm not gonna for people who want to go out and play in Sacramento who live outside of it, out from like the Rockland, Roseville, Yuba, Chico, have to drive like 30 minutes to an hour just to show up for like a $1 tourney to kind of just end up standing around not doing nothing. It makes sense.
Hmm.
And Hasso's sitting here saying himself, so now see there's another see what I mean? Like there's another bit of miscommunication that's just been brought to light. Because Trey was saying that Razor was said it was legit tourney that was counting for PR. Hasso was on the panel and now he's saying that it never counted. You see what I mean? Like this kind of confusion doesn't happen with PM. You can say whatever you want to say. You can laugh at me. You can laugh at PM. You can laugh at anybody who even speaks of the game. They don't have this kind of complication. They never have these kind of issues. Whether it be the consistency of the attorneys, whether they be large, far and few in between throughout a certain period of a quarter, they don't have to worry about it because they know what they had got. They know what they have set up, and they don't have to worry about it because it's there. We don't have that. We don't have standard rules and regulations. And the fact that people got mad when you kind of recommended, no, you didn't directly recommend it, but you let people discuss about their rule set,
Hmm.
that in itself shows a problem. Like someone suggesting that we have standardized rules and anybody being mad about that doesn't make sense. Like the fact that you're going to sit here and say, we need to know what counts and what doesn't. And someone says, no, that's dumb. We shouldn't do that because PM does it. PM's dumb. PM's dead.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with you not knowing if your shit counts or not? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You see how that sounds? Like that's stupid. Like that is directly stupid. I'll call that. I will pull up the definition of stupid and I'll read it off. That is dumb.
Yeah.
So that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So let me get to Griffin's question. So, I really what the thing is, I kind of said this earlier. Jay
Mm-hmm.
left, Josh left, and let's be honest, I wanted to step up. I wanted to, run tournaments, to try and be a community leader. And yeah, I know you guys didn't choose me, but I felt like I was the one willing to step up.
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so as a result of that, what I said, hey. Will, let me take moderation. And he handed it off to me and Lindsay because the two of us, were sick of seeing people leave and crap, and shit posts. And then apparently, I don't know if it's cafe because I don't go to cafe, but venues are getting trashed.
Hmm.
Yeah, and hey,
Mhm.
shout outs to Trey. Like he
And yeah,
does a
well,
lot of
I want
stuff,
to talk about
videos and
I want to talk
streaming and
about
stuff
Trey
like that.
specifically in a moment, like after you
Yeah,
finish addressing your current point, because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot that should be addressed about Trey that I think that a lot of people look over.
Mm-hmm.
So
And as far as Griffin is concerned, I didn't or the second part of your question, I didn't. I left for a while. Like I took like a month hiatus, 2 month hiatus, here and there, and then decided that hey, I want to step up. I want to make this a good community for everybody. So I want to run my own tournament. I want to hang out with people who are better than me, who are worse than me, who just want somebody to play with. And instead of just like me playing and trying to get better and then playing and trying to like let's work like
hmm
oh fuck, let's try this punish setup again and again and again and again. It's not the most fun thing to do, but if you guys want to get better at specifically that, I'm happy to help you. you know
that's what you got to do.
um yeah, and then well, yeah. I guess that's it for Griffin's question. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
if I miss something, feel free to say something. But
no, I mean, you seem like a pretty direct, full, fully thought out answer.
yeah.
But what I want to address about Trey is that like he's come in and then it's like he honestly has like taken on a huge brunt of work that a lot of people haven't really even given him credit for. It's like more often than not he'll head like projects for developing videos, assisting as a TO, making sure information gets out where it's supposed to be pertaining to tournaments, working with Toucan to get that shit handled. Realistically, I think he does deserve to have that recognized about him. Now, it's like even with all of that aside, it's having like having intelligence does not show that you have like experience or wisdom. Having like the drive to do it shows that you need to go through the steps to be recognized and to be shown as capable of becoming an admin. It's like I think he should be someone that admins should refer to, and definitely like sooner than later he should be put up as an admin sooner than later. I would say like that's just my vote for whatever you may take it as. But I think Trey, like at this point, it's like if you're gonna put someone who's of a newer breed, I wouldn't even recommend myself. I wouldn't even say me. You should put Trey because it's like he more so than anybody else is gonna be willing to make sure that things are put as they need to be. Like he
Hmm.
needs, like he's there. Like he needs some form of like, even if it's as a mod, even if you don't make him directly an admin of the page, he's already shown that he has the initiative, that he's taking the initiative, and he's already putting in the work for the short period of time he's actually been, part of, Sacramento Smash overall. He shows more drive, potential, and promise than almost anybody else who's up there with like Toucan.
Yeah, I would argue Toucan does
So it's like,
a
and
ton to
honestly,
play
if not,
to him.
Trey or Toucan, I don't know who else you would pick of a newer breed of players. Obviously, there'll be some names that'll probably come up because, like I said, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. But Trey is like at the top of the list of newer people who should be shown as an admin for Sacramento Smash as a page and as a group because he clearly shows that he cares about it often. He voices his opinion often, and he doesn't just say it and then just let it fall to pieces with like without having ways to back it up or without proof or without sound reasoning. It's like he's obviously showing that he wants to be a part of it to a higher extent. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, I haven't been a part of it for all that much longer either, but it's like if my little 2 cents were to mean anything, if I had to cast a vote, it would be for Trey. So it's
Yeah,
like he deserves it. Like I honestly believe
yeah,
he does. But
yeah. That like him. I can't say more than shout outs. Like I see the video editing that he does and the other stuff that he's been doing, and that's awesome. If he wants to be admin, if he wants to step up, like, fuck yeah, dude, go ahead. Um, if he doesn't want to, because like this shit has been stressful.
I
Like
feel it. Like and that's what I'm
I
saying. It's
I
like y'all gotta. And I brought this up to Lindsay, I think about 2 weeks ago. I was like, it's gonna be a lot. Like especially with like, there's so many more people than like when you guys were playing back in like '06, '07 and onward. nowadays it's like, even though like obviously we have a whole lot of lurkers in, in the page, there's a
Hmm.
lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of attendance for future tournaments, and a lot of people who need recognition for administrative issues such as like arguments, or who need information or sources of info for tournaments. And it's like you have the people who have the capability of getting that, getting these excuse me, not these means, these situations taken care of effectively, and just to pretty much prevent them from coming up in the future. He is one of
Hmm.
those people who have that capability. So it's like, if you were to honestly even promote him to a mod, that is a step in the right direction in my opinion. So it's
Hmm.
like just doing that, and then letting himself obviously just let him earn more notches on his belt if that's something y'all think that he needs to do. Putting him in a position where he can obviously show that he's got the notches already is pretty much what I think y'all should do. But
Hmm.
that's looking at it as like, just from the outside looking in. That's just me saying like, hey, I've literally gone through different trainings to recognize leadership and how to like promote it, how to go through all this kind of this, that, and the other for it. Trey has like the capability of becoming like an actual figurehead for this community, if not for the fact that he can obviously relate to other people from a newer breed of player. People know to go to him if they need information. People know to go to him or Toucan. It's like people always bring up Trey or Toucan every time they have a question about a tournament, or if anytime they need some form of like um some form of regulation or some form of information. Like it's literally him or Toucan. And even if people don't ask, they're there showing up with it like immediately. Like it's crazy.
Hmm.
So I think that's honestly something worth looking at, because it's like obviously it's like the easiest thing to look at in a group like this is to find what the problems are, but he's honestly been a part of the solution for things we haven't even brought up.
Yeah.
So that's just me,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
now more than ever, people are actually recognizing Sacramento on the map because of the fact that GDO, and I'm not sure if Toucan is GDO, so forgive me if I'm misspeaking, but because of the fact that individuals like him are going about collecting information, collecting video clips, submitting them to different famous YouTube channels. I don't know if they got put on GR Smash just yet, but they got put on like Smasha, and like I think it was even Matchup Gaming's YouTube channel a couple times, or just different YouTube channels that are pretty recognizable. But
Hmm.
the GDO dudes are actually like going in, and they're actually putting in work in more fronts
Yep.
than just like playing the game, or just things like that.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
just, if you're gonna like ever promote two people just because of like accolades that they already have in the time that they've been in, these two of newer players are people who you should be looking at, in my honest
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. I agree. Hey, so I think we've gone
Yeah,
10 to
we
15
had.
minutes over time.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah, if you guys have any more questions for me directly, message me on Facebook or whatever, and I'll be happy to answer them. In the meantime, thanks for being here and asking, bringing up your concerns and stuff. If you guys, uh, mostly respectful, there's a couple shit Marios in there,
I
but
mean that's
uh,
you gotta those, you gotta take those along the way.
right,
you
yeah,
gotta you
exactly.
gotta take them along the way. But yeah,
Exactly. So
so
yeah, hey, thanks for having me,
yeah,
dude. It
man.
was
Thanks for
fun.
thanks for agreeing to set this up. Like, I hope I can
Yeah.
do more in the future, even if it's just a follow up or with more people. But yeah, man. I appreciate you stopping by and like finally letting like some of the actual like just putting it out there, everything that people things that people need to know, and letting people have a chance to voice their opinion, and you can